Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. This is Enabling Innovation by Individuals with Disabilities, submitted to the Rotman Incoming MBA Students Competition by Team 21. When bringing our team together, our research showed teams incorporating diverse perceptions and backgrounds were able to bring forward more creativity, better problem solving, and were able to be more strategically placed when approaching the problem space. We tried to embody this in our member selection by selecting individuals from different MBA programs within the Rotman School with varied pre-MBA specializations, and each with their unique superpower that complemented other team members and gave us a competitive advantage when undertaking this case competition. Next slide, please.
The challenge presented to us was how we could lower the barriers for individuals with disabilities and make it easier for them to commercialize their solutions. We identified four key parts to the problem. First, there's a wide range of disabilities that come with unique barriers and challenges. However, some common barriers faced by people with disabilities are financial, social, and access to information barriers. To overcome these challenges, people with disabilities often come up with workarounds that are tailored to their needs, which leads us to ask, how can we help them commercialize their solutions? Next slide, please. Sorry. In our research, we found many different types of primary, secondary, and tertiary sources, such as podcasts and scientific papers, highlighting the gap in the industry. Next slide, please. A key finding from a 2021 study showed that while 22% of Canadians identify as a person with disabilities, only 0.5% of all small and medium-sized enterprises in Canada are owned by people with disability innovators. Experts cite the reason for this is as a lack of awareness, funding, and a network with access to investors. To address this gap, the team is tackling the problem of the lack of direct line of communication between innovators and those that can help them commercialize their solutions. Next slide, please.
In order to target this problem statement, we are proposing a social networking platform to bring innovators, mentors, and investors all to the same place. In doing so, we aim to build a collaborative community that tackles the gap in communication between these groups of people and targets the social isolation between people with disabilities often face. To narrow our scope, we decided to concentrate on Canada and its most prevalent disability types. In 2023, the three most prevalent disability groups were found to be pain-related disorders, flexibility, and mobility disorders. These three disability groups make up 3 to 5 million people of the Canadian population. If we assume our reach to be 20 to 40% of this pool and account for 2.5% of them being innovators, we're then looking at a pool of 50K people. Typically, venture capitalists only invest in about 1% of the ideas pitched to them, with an initial investment amount of $400,000. If we start off by taking 5% in revenue from these initial investment amounts, we're looking at a projected revenue of $10 million within 5 years. Our sources recognize multiple different barriers that stand in the way of people with disabilities with inventions they may like to commercialize. The most prevalent of them are the three highlighted in the middle here, especially in the Canadian market.
There are several platforms in other markets that have tried to tackle these barriers by creating a professional network for people with disabilities. To name an organization, there's an organization called Synergist Work, which is a US-based organization that has succeeded in supporting over 300 founders with disability today. So building on the success of these similar platforms, we are creating a social network that is tailored to the Canadian market. Our network gathers the local resources available to Canadian innovators and leverages our knowledge of the Canadian market and its regulations. Our platform will also help raise awareness on disability solutions through the investor onboarding program and build community by creating a space where people with disability can share their innovative solutions and network with other innovators and industry experts. Finally, our organization will have strategic partnerships with the platforms in other countries to help develop best practices and drive policy. Next slide. To demonstrate what we envision for our platform's users, we would like to walk you through two user journeys. First, on the innovator side, we have a person with disability who has an innovative solution, but he doesn't know how to commercialize. In his search for a way, he finds our platform and signs up to join our network. There, he finds dedicated forums where he can share his ideas with other people with disabilities and industry experts. If an investor likes his ideas, then they're matched together, and he can pitch his solution directly to him. If all goes well, their business launches, and after future success, the innovator returns to our platform as a mentor to help other people with disabilities develop their ideas. On the investor side, we have an investor who is searching for a new business opportunity. He finds our platform and learns about the accessibility market and its potential. He signs up to join our network and completes the onboarding program. He then browses through the forums in search of investment candidates. He finds a promising idea and connects with the innovator to discuss commercialization. Their business launches, it becomes a success, and the investor returns to the platform in search of more investment candidates. Next slide.
There are a few assumptions we had to take in developing our proposed solution. These assumptions are listed on the slide. Let's briefly review the assumption that industry experts are willing to join and provide mentorship as an example. In our research, we came across Moaz Hamid, a person living with a disability and a tech investor within the disability space. He currently runs a venture accelerator to take innovators with disabilities from the idea stage to the investment ready stage. This demonstrates the willingness of industry experts to support our solution. Furthermore, an incentive for these experts is to identify and contribute to the growth of products which may improve functioning with their own disabilities. We recognize that these assumptions are also risks and know that they need to be managed accordingly as well. Next slide. To highlight our platform's success, we first outlined objectives that would help define the parameters for key performance indicators. We isolated both website and networking related KPIs that would measure for both objectives, and you can see that as split across this screen for both objectives. One KPI we'd like to highlight is the ratio of the number of investors to the number of innovators, which we'd like to target as 1-to-1 to ensure all innovators have maximal resource offering. To track these KPIs, we would like to use an analytical software, such as Google Analytics, to periodically review and report the findings to the team. Next slide.
To validate our solution meets target users' needs, our validation process would have us create a prototype, test it with a focus group of users based on our KPIs, extract insights, and then use those insights to incrementally adjust the solution with product market fit as our goal. Knowing our assumptions represent risks, we have incorporated a risk management program into our process, which uses ongoing monitoring and periodic meetings to assess the risks and conduct tactical and strategic shifts as needed. Lastly, and looking to the future, our roadmap would have us repeat this iterative process, but with an increasing scope, allowing us to start with our primary market segment, then to expand the total addressable market in Canada, followed by potentially repeating the same success in other markets globally in order to grow our portfolio. Next slide, please. We have included our resources for your kind reference, and thank you again for your time and for joining us on this collective journey. This concludes our presentation for today, and we now open the floor for Q&A.